Oh boy, I'm definitely doing this video. I'm wearing the flowery shirt because we're gonna be talking about some dark things, so I figured out that the flowers will kind of help with the whole thing. So people, prepare yourself. My name is Marco, and this will be a phenomenal video in which we are going to be cranking the sensitivity knob. You know, like some amplifiers or pedals, they have this sensitivity knob. Well, on this video, we crank it up to 12, and we are going to be talking about a very sensitive topic. So, spend the next few minutes with me, and by the way, get some, something to drink, preferably in a shroom cup. And as I said, spend the next few minutes with me talking about, is guitar YouTube dying, and are some guitar YouTubers simply making it worse day by day? You ready? Let's go. Okay, so to ask the question first, is guitar YouTube dying or is it changing? Well, we will obviously need the entire video to answer that question, but I've been thinking about this topic and I was sort of doing my own little private investigation, and I figured out I'm gonna make this video and lay out some of the things, some of the thoughts that I have on my mind, and I would also definitely like to hear your opinion because something is happening, and I know that a lot of people also feel that something is happening, and I think we shouldn't be silent about it anymore. So I would consider myself to be the first generation of YouTube consumers, because when I was in high school, that's sort of when YouTube started, and I've grown up with YouTube. And not only that I've grown up with YouTube, I've learned so much from YouTube, and I've grown with all the YouTubers that came to basically who became who they are today, like all the big guys, all the popular guys. I was growing up with them. So with Ola, with Rob Chapman, who is nowhere to be found now because it's all sort of started back with that whole KDH thing, oh god. Obviously with That Pedal Show and all the other Pete Thorne, all the other big channels, and I was very blessed to have gotten the opportunity to meet them at some point on the first GitCon. Being a part of the first generation of YouTube consumers that I just mentioned, I have been witness to a lot of things that have been happening on YouTube throughout the last 15 years, and then I sort of figured out that I could be potentially the right person to make this video. Now, if we would do a very, very crude classification of YouTube channels, we could diversify them in two groups, one being music-related channels and the other one being more like gear-related channels. And these two groups would obviously intermingle because you would obviously have people who are mostly doing like guitar education and stuff like this, like technique or guitar theory, and occasionally they would talk about certain guitar gear, but you also have only channels that only talk about guitar gear with limited musical context. What I'm talking about in this video are the gear channels, and I think that the actual music channels that do guitar playing are actually thriving now more than ever. But the gear channels, it can be clearly seen that they're dying. There is a clear drop in views, and it obviously triggered a lot of people to make videos about that topic in the last few months. There were a lot of videos on that topic, and recently Ola made a video. Ola, who is, by the way, Ola became my TV. I just watch Ola on Sundays. I don't have a TV at home. I mean, I don't have cable television. I don't watch that shit. But I watch Ola, and we sort of became a little bit spoiled because somebody has to make that video actually, and we just take it for granted that there is a Sunday with Ola, we're supposed to watch that, and he is supposed to make that, right? But if his views are dropping, that would also mean that his revenue and motivation is definitely dropping. Now, there could be potentially a few different reasons why the views could be potentially dropping, and one of them would be algorithm changes. I would see people talk about algorithm change. It's because of the algorithm. The algorithm is not pushing our videos. That's why we have less views. Well, I've been exploring the YouTube algorithm, obviously, because I'm running a small YouTube channel now. So I really have to like know this stuff. And if I'm to like get any kind of views, and the algorithm hasn't been this sophisticated ever. The algorithms on all social media now are actually really sophisticated. That's not to say that there wasn't a period when the algorithm was absolute bullshit. I think everybody remembers that one time when YouTube changed and we all hated it. Now YouTube is also like very saturated, and the advanced algorithm now that's doing all these things is actually giving a lot of space to like new comment, this video new content, this video included. So it's basically making it harder for YouTubers who have been on the stage for a long time now. It's making them work a lot, and it's only natural that they sort of stagnate and they don't not only improve, but just they don't evolve, they don't change their content, and I think it's making it much harder for them to get like more views. Now the second thing that people would think that would be the reason that the views are dropping is the audience has changed. Well, has the audience changed? Well, I actually looked it up, and the YouTube audience is sort of skewing younger, so it's not getting, it's pretty stable and it has a pretty broad audience. But I was also thinking about this, and you know, our lives have changed, and since being, like, as I said, like the first generation of YouTube consumers, I had the time to watch these videos. But as we've all grown up, and you know, some people had kids and families and that kind of stuff, you don't really have time to watch YouTube videos. And if we were, you know, growing up watching like Riffs, Beards and Gear and Ola and I don't know, Rob Chapman or Henning Pauly or whatever, at some point, you know, we wouldn't have time to watch like 40-minute videos and stuff like this, and that would obviously definitely be one of the reasons for the views dropping. So if these channels didn't sort of evolve for a younger audience, that would be the reason why these views are dropping, right? The third thing that people have been mentioning is that there is a lot of competition in terms of like TikTok and Instagram, and people have moved to short form content, even though being one of the oldies, I don't like short form content. I don't think that you can get really relevant information in short form content. I don't think that you can watch a gear demo on the phone, on that speaker. I think that kind of stuff is not really professional. But the point is, you have the young generations that don't give a fuck about that. That's actually what's really happening. They don't give a shit. And even the older, I mean older population, meaning like 30 plus, right? The older guys, like even they watch stuff on their phone and complain about, you know, the tone of the Tube Screamer while listening to it on his like Xiaomi phone or whatever. So I would say that that also definitely affects the views, because people went to short form and stuff has actually changed. And making short form is actually, for people like me, I would understand these YouTubers that making short form is just harder than doing this, you know? I want to jump in now and just say that there are some other things why the views are dropping, and I would say that there is a natural evolution, especially with the older channels, because what happens is that these people have been doing this, some of them for over 10 years. They have invested a huge portion of their life, a lot of, like, you know, money into their equipment and everything that they're doing, and at some point they just naturally evolved, started working with different companies, got affiliated with the companies, which is absolutely fine and normal because they need to live from all this stuff. As I said in the beginning, we are watching Ola's videos, we just take it for granted that he should be putting out a video on a Sunday where he doesn't have to do it. He's not national television, right? But we feel like he's our friend and he is the national television, and if he doesn't make his video, it's like, oh, you know, Ola didn't make a video. Makes us sad. You should know that, Ola. Makes us sad. But the whole point is, if Fluff goes and starts working for Marshall, and all of a sudden now his favorite amplifier is a JCM 900, we come to the point where I don't really trust your opinions when you're making a video on YouTube, because you're working for that company. It's only natural. I'm not saying that he's a bad person or he's unethical. I'm saying that it's only natural that we don't really trust these opinions anymore, because most of these channels actually started by giving their opinions to us uncensored and everything, all that kind of stuff, and then it slowly, changed the course. I personally know a lot of people who came to me in the last 2-3 years saying that, like, I don't watch YouTube anymore. I don't watch that shit anymore. I've had enough of it. And whenever you talk to them, it's pretty much the same thing. People have had enough of channels telling them the exact same thing, recycling the exact same topic, and just saying nice things about every piece of gear. Oh, we've got another overdrive pedal, and now this one is the one that creates these amazing tones and whatever. Like, nobody's really criticizing equipment. I mean, it's not like nobody, but rarely any channel is doing like a real criticism of equipment. Plus, they got a lot of the channels, and I'm sorry to say, but a lot of the big channels are really guilty of this. If they have like a high production level, they can make anything sound good. And we came to the point when it's like, I have no idea what sounds good and what doesn't, and I don't trust anybody, and I feel like everybody's full of shit. And it certainly looks that way. And I would say that that is a huge contributor to the fall of the number of views. And I also have to say that I think that not all channels are guilty of this, but they are like collateral damage. You know what also happened? Basically, the big boys have taken over. Now, big companies such as Sweetwater, Thomann, obviously Andertons, they've got great YouTube channels. They invested a lot of money in their YouTube channels, and it's absolutely the absolute right way how to run a business if you are running like a music shop. But basically, they killed a lot of these smaller YouTubers where there was a business around like gear demos, and there was a time when everybody wanted to do a gear demo, and I think that that whole thing is absolutely dying, because you have the gear demos now on these huge channels, huge productions and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to create a small YouTube channel just by doing gear demos, just don't do it. Do like a channel about fishing or something. Obviously, a lot of companies figured out that they should run their own YouTube channels, so they started running their own small YouTube channels that have grown, and that also contributed to the killing of the most random gear reviewer. Now, even though you can feel that a lot of these older legendary channels are sort of like slowly dying off for like all the reasons that we just talked about, I love to see a lot of these channels just having a small community that is still very active through the live streams, like really true like fans and people who respect what these people are doing, because I do respect what they are doing. It's very weird, but a lot of these YouTubers are just inevitably they became a part of my life, in many cases my everyday life, which is, I'm sure, the same case with you. So I'm happy to see communities just being alive, even though we don't get a lot of like views or a lot of videos like we do before. I like to see the live streams. I like to see the community being alive. Also, the market is beyond oversaturated. I was trying to Google out some like facts about this, but I couldn't find it. But I remember talking to a person from the industry who told me that there was, like, if you compare 2015 and 2025, the number of companies that make like different like pedals, amplifiers, and that kind of like, I think he was talking about only guitar related stuff. It's like it went not 10x, it's like 20x. So there are so many different companies now doing all this stuff, so many different pedals, and people are absolutely and totally confused with all this stuff. And what's very important is that we actually need good gear review channels. We don't need thousands of them. We need a few really good gear review channels who are going to stay true to what they are doing. So It is a complex topic. I don't want to get into that now because it's going to be a rabbit hole. But basically, what I'm coming at is that I have seen in the last, let's say 5 years, 6 years, there has been a time on YouTube when you could grow your channel and it was actually not that hard. And that time has given some people an opportunity to grow their YouTube channels, which became, I would say, absolutely idiotic channels, which do zero contribution to the world of knowledge, gear, or whatever. There are people who make videos on certain pieces of gear who are not competent to create videos and comment on these pieces of gear. A lot of the times they're not interesting, and most importantly, they're not honest about this stuff. But you see, what's happening is that for whatever reason, they have reach and they actually have an impact on the market, and they came into this business, and people actually, like companies, they give them this gear, they pay them a lot of money to create these videos. And what they are doing, in my opinion, is that they're basically exploiting vulnerabilities of people who maybe just don't want to dig deep enough when it comes to certain, pieces of gear or certain knowledge, especially when it comes to audio. Oh, come on, man, it becomes so confusing, and they're basically exploiting, let's say, a weakness of these people by telling them whatever they like to hear, by making a huge mystique around certain pieces of equipment, basically making videos in which they say nothing, but yet they have an impact on the market. And you're gonna go and buy a pill because you heard them say something, and you just didn't get the right information. You're gonna come home, you're gonna be unsatisfied, and that's how the money spends. Now, I actually recently heard the term YouTube police. Somebody commented in one of my videos, listen, I'm not a policeman or a YouTube policeman. I don't give a fuck about this. I just run a YouTube channel in which I'm not sponsored and I can say whatever the fuck I want. So I'm just expressing my opinions. I don't want to point fingers or ruin anybody's business. I absolutely respect everybody who is doing some kind of business, and we are all people, and these people are also feeding their families. But I'm well within my rights to say my opinion regarding these things, because what I believe is that there should be some kind of moral and ethic obligation when you are doing these things publicly, all right? Because YouTube started as a place of freedom where we are free to publish a video and free to create a community. Can you imagine, it was impossible doing this 20 years, 30 years ago. This is ridiculous. We have this platform where we are together, right? And there are people who are exploiting this, and that's why I'm talking about this and making this video. I hope that the message is translating. I just feel like this is a cancer that has been growing on YouTube, and I feel like that channels like this have also taken a lot of space from the people who should have gotten that space, I would say. I feel like there's going to be a huge reckoning on YouTube. There's going to be a huge reckoning in the world. It is a very weird time, but I feel like stuff is about to change. You see, I believe that if you make videos for YouTube, you are morally obligated to make YouTube a better place. We are sharing some information over here, and we are supposed to be making it a nicer place. We're not supposed to be exploiting it. And if we create communities here on YouTube, I don't believe that we are supposed to be dishonest about certain things. With full understanding to all people who are working with the companies, they should just be transparent about that. And I have nothing against the Andertons channel, even though a lot of people think that I hate the Andertons channel and whatever because I sort of involve them in some of my videos. Listen, I completely respect what they're doing. What they are doing is exactly how you should run a music shop, if I was running a music shop, I would run it exactly like that, because that's really, really good business. But I'm well within my rights to say that that's an entertainment channel. It might have started as like a gear demo review or something, right? There's a difference between demo and review, I understand. But that is entertainment. And, you know, they do entertainment much better than other channels, so that's why I watch it. I watch it for entertainment. Sometimes I hear some pill, whatever, but honestly, I don't trust what they're saying in these videos, and I also learn what to pay attention to, what to notice in these videos, and how I can distinguish whether a certain piece of gear works a certain way. I mean, I've been talking about this on this channel, and that's basically the message that I'm trying to translate, that it would be great, you would benefit a lot if you would employ the same techniques. I'm not saying that you shouldn't watch them. I'm not saying that they're bad people. You can watch whatever you like, and you can obviously spend money on whatever you like. It's your money, you earned it, so you can spend it on whatever you like. Now, I don't want to rant about this anymore, but what can you do to correct this? Well, realistically, there is not much. This is a huge moving beast that realistically, we cannot control. But some minimal things that I think that people should be doing. It is something that I'm guilty of not doing because I didn't understand it. I was not interacting with the content, and I was not showing appreciation to content that I actually had appreciation for, in terms of, like, you know, liking, commenting, sharing, and that kind of stuff. That really helps. If you find that a certain YouTube channel is doing something that you like, it's very cool to support them. Sharing it really helps. Liking the video, commenting on the video, making some kind of positive interaction, because unfortunately, a lot of the times people who comment, they don't give like really good comments, and mostly like you've got this portion of people, like people who want to comment bad. 120% of these people is going to comment, but people who want to comment good, only like 2% of them do any kind of commenting, right? So I think it's very cool to support a YouTube channel and a YouTube video that you think it's great. So, you know, if you like what I'm doing on this channel, if you like this video, if you feel like you've had any benefits, yeah, it is absolutely free to subscribe to the channel or to like the video, and it actually really supports me and helps me a lot and gives me the motivation to do more videos and to continue doing this. Now, I think that has been enough for this video. I really appreciate everybody for watching. Let me know your thoughts about all these things that I've said. I'm absolutely sure that I missed a lot of things, but let me know your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation healthy. I'll be seeing you in the next video very, very soon. Bye.